our interests, our values, priorities that will be at the heart of the discussions that our teams are having, but also that Prime Minister Starmer and President Biden will have later this week in Washington. Those priorities, of course, include our resolute support for Ukraine faced with the ongoing Russian aggression. The United States, the United Kingdom are leaders in providing security assistance to Ukraine, and together, from day one, continuing to this day, we stand strongly with our Ukrainian partners. As David said, we'll be traveling together to Kiev this week, and I think it's a critical moment for Ukraine. In the midst of what is an intense fall fighting season, with Russia continuing to escalate its aggression against civilians, against critical infrastructure, and of course against Ukrainian forces.
This is my video update on this Tuesday afternoon, September the 10th. Let's talk about some news. It is debate day today in the United States. Big day in politics. Will it be Trump who wins, or will it be Kamala Harris? Maybe it will be a draw. Do you even care? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think's going to win? What do you think is going to happen during the debates tonight in the U.S.? Do you even care? Are you going to watch the debates? Anyway, big day in the U.S. It is a big day in the United States. And let's now talk about Blinken. Bono Cafe Restaurant. In the name of love. Anyway, let's talk about Blinken, the Secretary of State. He is in the UK, and he is meeting with the UK Foreign Minister. David Lammy is the UK Foreign Minister who took over for Lord David Cameron. And they had a meeting. And Blinken, he has officially accused Iran of sending short-range ballistic missiles to Russia. And he said that Iran is going to be sanctioned for doing this, even though this is really not about Iran. This is not about short-range ballistic missiles to Russia. What this is really about is Russia providing air defense systems and fighter jets to Iran, mainly air defense systems, as Iran prepares for a probable retaliation against Israel. That's what this is really about. They are, the collective West, the United States, Blinken, they are saying that they're upset with Iran for sending ballistic missiles to Russia, but my guess is that the deal between Russia and Iran was, we'll provide air defense, S-400s, what do you guys got? And Iran said, well, we've got some short-range ballistic missiles. Russia said, okay. And that was the deal. And Blinken in the United States, they're upset with the air defense to Iran. They just don't want to say it. Iran is preparing their defenses with the best air defense in the world for what could be a retaliation against Israel. We also got word, I think I can cross. We also got word from, well, I don't know if this is confirmed actually. I'm not even sure where this comes from, to be quite honest. But there is some talk that, I think I can go. I see no lights or anything here to cross. But there is some talk that Blinken and the UK Foreign Minister, they will travel to Kiev on Friday. And the reports are that they are going to give Zelensky the go-ahead to use ATACMS to hit pre-2014 Russian territory. And actually, Biden is going to speak to Keir Starmer, the most boring man in politics, Sir Keir Starmer, and they're going to talk about green-lighting ATACMS to hit Russian territory, pre-2014 Russian territory, long-range missiles hitting Russia. Under the targeting, surveillance, direction of the collective West, because there's no way that Ukraine, all the experts, all the weapons experts, military experts, they acknowledge that there's no way that Ukraine is going to actually be firing those missiles into Russia. They're going to definitely need, at a minimum, the surveillance and the targeting, the help of the United States and NATO. So effectively, you may be getting on Friday the okay for NATO, the United States, to start launching long-range missiles into pre-2014 Russia, for which Putin, Lavrov, Medvedev, Shoigu, Zakharova, everyone in the Russian government has said this is without a doubt a red line. This is the red line. Wow, if this is true, if this is indeed true, then this is huge news. This is a big development. Scary development. But that's what we are hearing. So we had all this talk about a ceasefire this fall. Zelensky saying that we need a ceasefire, a peace deal this fall. We had Olaf Scholz the other day talk about getting to a faster peace deal in Ukraine. And here we have the reports saying that Blinken and Biden are going to liaise with the UK, and they're going to greenlight missile strikes into Russia. The neocons always get their way. If this is true, and if this indeed does happen, then the neocons win out, and we are going to get massive escalation. And the Russians said that they will retaliate. So that's the big news, everybody, for today. CNN, they put out an article 2 days ago, actually. This article is 2 days old, but it's making the rounds on social media with the title, "Outgunned and Outnumbered, Ukraine's military is struggling with low morale and desertion." So this article is saying that 6 commanders interviewed by CNN claim that the military's morale is very low. They're having to deal with insubordination. They're having to deal with desertion. And they're having a very difficult time recruiting new soldiers. And what makes this article interesting is that it goes 100% against what Ukraine military commander Syrskyi told Christian Amanpour, international correspondent and sophisticated journalist, 2 days ago during his interview with CNN, which is basically CNN debunking Syrskyi on CNN. And that interview aired on Sunday, I believe, the Amanpour Syrskyi interview. Now, it may have happened, the actual sit-down may have taken place days before the interview actually aired on CNN. But the interview airs on CNN. Syrskyi talks about how Ukraine's military morale since the Kursk incursion is super high. He says the Kursk operation is a success. Military morale is very high. And then CNN runs an article saying that they've interviewed 6 commanders in the Ukraine military, as well as officials who are not in the military. And they are saying that Ukraine's military morale is at an all-time low. Syrski's in trouble, man. Syrski is going to take the fall for the Kursk debacle. And it is a disaster for the Ukraine military in Kursk. The Russian Ministry of Defense, now this is Russia, but this is what the Russian Ministry of Defense is saying. They put out a statement claiming that since the beginning of the operation in Kursk, 11,400 Ukrainian casualties, and this is just in Kursk, and the Russian military has destroyed over 1,000 pieces of military hardware, collective West weapons. That's huge. That is a huge amount in a month. 11,400 casualties and 1,000 plus military equipment destroyed in about a month's time. That is not a success. That is a debacle. And someone's going to have to take the fall. And it looks like they are setting up Syrski to take a big fall. So that was the CNN article refuting the CNN interview as they prepare Syrski to take the blame for the Kursk debacle, as Blinken travels to Kiev to give the green light, allegedly he's going to give the green light for the collective West to help Ukraine send long-range missiles into pre-2014 Russian territory. I think I've summed it up pretty well. So, where am I? Let's go down this way. Oh no, let's go up. Let's go up. So, what else? Lavrov. He is in Riyadh, and he met with MBS, and Lavrov also spoke to the media, and he talked about Project Ukraine, and he talked about the pressure that Russia is under from various allies, mainly BRICS, mostly India and Brazil, and they're under pressure to try and advance some sort of a ceasefire or peace deal. And Lavrov told the media, told everyone in attendance in Riyadh that, look, peace deal, I don't see how we're going to get a peace deal, because dealing with Zelensky and his ultimatums and his insistence on implementing his peace summits, because we're going to have a second peace summit soon, it's just a pain in the neck. That's what Lavrov said. Dealing with Zelensky and his ultimatums is a pain in the freaking neck. That was the statement from Lavrov, which is basically the foreign ministry's way of telling Russia's allies who are under pressure from the United States to try and convince Russia into agreeing to some sort of a freeze, a ceasefire, something like that, a stalemate. It's Lavrov's way of telling them, look, we've tried. We've tried with Minsk 1, we've tried with Minsk 2, we tried with 2022, and the agreement that we had in place, and Boris sabotaged. We've tried, but every time we try and get to some sort of a ceasefire, Zelensky, the collective West, they sabotage it, and they always default to their peace plan, to the Zelensky peace plan, which is effectively a Russian capitulation. That's the problem. The collective West, Ukraine, Zelensky, they don't want to accept the realities on the ground, which worsen every day. Every day it gets worse and worse for them. But they insist on Zelensky's peace plan, which is the Russian capitulation. We know what Zelensky's peace plan is all about. It says that Russia has to has to pull back, its military has to pull back from everywhere, including Crimea, not pre-1991, 1991 borders. That's the first requirement. And then once Russia does that, then the Zelensky peace plan calls for war tribunals, war crime tribunals of the Putin administration. And then the Zelensky peace plan calls for Russia to pay Ukraine 500 billion or 800 billion. It goes higher and higher each time, war reparations to Ukraine. That's the Zelensky peace plan in a nutshell. And also Russia, and Lavrov brings it up all the time, the foreign ministry, Lavrov, Russia, they always say that look, if you want us to negotiate with Ukraine, fine, but the first step that Ukraine has to make, the first thing they have to do is they have to remove from the constitution the ban on negotiating with Putin. Because right now in the Ukrainian constitution, by law, the president of Ukraine is not allowed to negotiate with Russian President Vladimir Putin. So how are you going to negotiate when you're not allowed to negotiate anyway? That's what Lavrov said. It's just a pain in the neck. You can tell that the Russians are tired with trying to explain why Ukraine is impossible to negotiate with to other nations, allies, and BRICS members. So that was Lavrov. He's basically saying there's not going to be any negotiations. And Shoigu, he gave an interview. Now Shoigu he's the secretary of the Security Council now. I believe he is the secretary. He was the defense minister. But Shoigu, he gave an interview and he said there are going to be no negotiations. There are going to be no peace negotiations, no ceasefire deal. Not at least not until Ukraine is pushed out of Kursk. That is what Shoigu said. So no peace, no ceasefire, no talking until the Russian military removes Ukraine from Kursk, which is what Putin also says when Putin's under pressure from say India, from Modi, or from from Brazil, whatever, from China, to try and advance a ceasefire. Putin says, fine, I'm always ready to talk. But since the Kursk incursion, there's no talking. The first thing we have to do is we have to remove the Ukraine military from Kursk, and then we can think about some sort of a negotiation. So it's Shoigu's way, it's Putin's way of saying there's going to be no negotiation. There's going to be no talking. And I imagine if this report about the long-range missiles into Russian territory is true, then I imagine any talk about negotiations, any BRICS members that are pushing Russia, or trying to convince Russia to negotiate, I imagine that once the Biden White House, if the Biden White House green lights long-range missiles into pre-2014 Russia, everything is off the table. Everything is done as far as negotiations. It's going to be a military solution. Interesting. So let's. Should we do some clown worlds? I think we can do some clown worlds. Let me see if I've covered all of the topics for today. Oh no, one more topic. And this has to do with the European Union and Slovakia. The EU is threatening Fico with sanctions. That's right. The EU is sanctioning its member states. It's already sanctioned Hungary. It wanted to sanction Poland. I think it did sanction Poland. And then Poland decided to play ball with the EU. And I'm not sure where that whole thing is with Poland and the European Union. But the EU is telling Slovakia, if you don't hand over control of your judicial system, to the European Union, then you're not going to get any EU funds. We're talking about 12 billion euros in EU funds, which are owed to Slovakia. And according to the Financial Times, the European Union is going to even withhold about 2.7 billion euros in funds for Kiev relief that is owed to Slovakia. And what the EU wants is they want control of Slovakia's judicial system, which is basically what they wanted from Poland. I don't know what happened to the whole EU-Poland thing. Let me know in the comments down below. I reported on the story when it happened, like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And then the conflict in Ukraine started, and Poland made good with the European Union. And I don't know what happened with that whole story, but now they're going after Slovakia for pretty much the same thing. What they went after Poland for is what they're going after Slovakia for. And they want Fico to hand over the reins of his justice system to the European Union. The EU has to control everything. Everything has to go to the center. Everything has to be under the control of Ursula Tatters van der Leyen. Political, monetary, financial, fiscal, social, judicial, even military. It all has to be centralized in Brussels. That's the price you pay when you become a member state of the EU and of the EU's military arm, which is NATO. You lose your sovereignty, you lose your country. Everything about your country, you lose. And so Slovakia is trying to hold on to its judicial sovereignty, but the EU is saying, nope, you've got to give that up. So that's a big story as well. Let's do some clown worlds. And today's clown world, I think I've got three clown worlds lined up. So the New York Times, they reported on the get-together, the Financial Times event, get-together between CIA Burns and MI6 Moore. And the New York Times read an article with the title, "Spy Chiefs of the CIA and MI6 Convene on a Couch and for a Crowd, appearing together publicly for the first time in the history of their agencies. The heads of the US and British intelligence services discussed Ukraine's incursion into Russia and the war in Gaza." Now, this is not worthy of a clown world segment, even though I like the title from the New York Times, "Spy Chiefs on a Couch." That sounds like a good name for a podcast, maybe a rock band. Introducing Spy Chiefs on a Couch. I don't know, maybe a sitcom. But the article, in the article, towards the end, this is what the New York Times is reporting. For his part, Mr. Burns said the CIA was very sharply focused on the threat of Russian agents operating in Mexico, where there are reports that they are trying to encourage illegal migration into the United States as a way to destabilize the country during a presidential election year. Part of that is a function of so many Russian agents kicked out of Europe, Mr. Burns said. So they are looking for somewhere to go instead. Oh my God. And this is towards the end of the article. I think this is the last two paragraphs of this New York Times article. Basically, Burns claims that it is Russia's fault for the migration problems in the United States. It's Russian agents in Mexico trying to destabilize the U.S. during an election year, and they're the ones that are pushing the migration problem into the United States. Russia. So it's ridiculous, man. It really is ridiculous. But look, if you're in Mexico, if you're watching this video and you're in Mexico right now, all I have to say, my friends, is be very careful. Look to your right, look to your left. There may be some Russian agents next to you, and they may be stirring up some trouble for the United States. So if you're in Mexico, be vigilant. keep your eyes and ears open, because there are Russian agents everywhere, and they're causing trouble, according to CIA Director Burns and MI6 Chief Richard Moore. Anyway, that's Clown World number 1. Clown World number 2 is Georgia, Tbilisi. Let's go to Tbilisi and Ukraine, where we are getting reports that the Ukraine representative, I'm not sure if this is the ambassador or just someone in the Ukraine embassy in Georgia, but the Ukraine representative, diplomatic representative in Georgia, has been fired by the new foreign minister, the guy that took over for Kuleba. So the new foreign minister of Ukraine fires a Ukraine diplomat, a representative in Georgia. And why was this guy fired? Well, this guy was fired because, and this is according to a Georgia government statement, they said it's not political. That wasn't the reason why he was fired. It has nothing to do with politics. The reason that this Ukraine diplomat in Georgia was fired by the Ukraine Foreign Ministry is because he was buying washing machines. Yeah, that's right. He was buying washing machines, home appliances, and this is a no-no according to the Ukraine Foreign Ministry. Right? You cannot buy washing machines. So he was fired. Oh my God. I wonder if this Ukraine diplomat in Georgia was a double agent. Maybe he was working for the Russian government, and maybe, just maybe, he was buying washing machines in Georgia so he can remove the chips from the washing machines. I've been here. I've done a circle. Yeah, I've done a circle. So anyway, let's go straight through. He was buying washing machines to remove the chip so that he could give it to Russia, because Russia needs the washing machine chips to power up their tanks and their fighter jets. Maybe that's what's really going on here. Oh boy. And finally, let's do one more Clown World, and let's talk about a manhunt in Lithuania. That's right. A crime has been committed in Lithuania, and the police are on a manhunt. They are trying to catch the criminals, the bandits that committed this crime in Lithuania. You may ask, what is the crime? My God, what is the crime? Well, according to reports, the crime is that these criminals, these bandits, they had the letter Z on their car, and they placed the letter Z on billboards. And in Lithuania, that is a crime. Not a felony. From what I understand, it's a misdemeanor, but it's still a crime. And now the Lithuanian police, they are trying to catch these banditos and bring them to justice, because you cannot have the letter Z on your car or on billboards if you are in Lithuania. Oh boy. Good thing I say Zelensky and not Zelensky, huh? Very, very good thing. Because I may end up in Lithuania one day, and who knows, the police may stop me, and they may say, you've been doing videos talking about Zelensky, for which I will reply, no, Mr. Police Officer, Lithuanian police officer. I do not use the letter Z in my videos. I say Zelensky, not Zelensky. Thus, I avoid Lithuanian prison. All right. So that is the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble. Oh, what a beautiful church down that way, huh? We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up a t-shirt like the one I am wearing today in this video. And hit the like, subscribe to this channel, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.